Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's way back Wednesday, and people have been asking me for to see this knife, and you've already seen the thumbnail, so you already know I'm gonna show you the Pecos. But I kind of wanted to talk about, kind of why I like that knife so much, kind of how I got there, uh, all that kind of stuff, and where I'm at now, uh, as far as my EDC and what I'm carrying and stuff like that. So I just kind of wanted to, you know, show you some knives. This was my very first Roper knife, was this Ash Viper Stockman, and I got to tell you, I was so impressed with the fit and the finish and all this other stuff. I just knew that I wanted to explore more knives that Roper had, and the fact that Roper was one of the knives that when most makers are giving you stainless steels and stuff like that, and and makers like Queso offer stainless and carbon, most of their stuff was in 1065 carbon steel, and so I was very impressed with that. And I had heard all kinds of good stuff about carbon steel and everything, and I'd had carbon steel in the past. You got to remember, like I said, this is way back Wednesday, so we're kind of going back, and I appreciate you guys being with me on the channel. As you guys know, I'm no expert. I'm not, you know, somebody that has been in the knife game for, decades and decades and decades. For the most part, I was just a user of knives, and I would buy them. I liked them, and I thought that they were awesome. And every chance I got, I'd end up picking one up here, picking one up there. But like a lot of guys, I think as my uh, tastes changed. Like I said, my first knife was a Stockman knife, but at the time I started to get back into traditionals, and certainly before I got into YouTube, knives like this Kershaw. This was, what I was getting. I was getting assisted opening knives or flipper knives. I stuff with a pocket clip and a liner lock, or maybe it'd be a lock back. But some kind of a knife like this was where I was at before I went back and made a hard turn back towards traditionals. I was a modern knife guy, not because I had abandoned traditionals, although in a way I had. I just didn't think about traditionals as a knife that like I was going to pick. If I saw, like if I was in a store, I'd walk past 20 of these to go after a muskrat like that. Uh, Thank you, Zen. I still very much love this. This is the Rattler muskrat. We're gonna go over all these knives, you know that, but just a really cool knife. You got the two clip point kind of Skinner blades, one on each end. What a awesome design. But I digress. But I would definitely go for a trapper today over a more modern knife. Although Roper does have those too. The Buffalo Warrior, still very much super favorite of mine. Uh, I almost, I literally almost cried when I thought this was lost. And I'll tell the story again. I had this clipped into my pocket. My wife and I had gone to the store. I was carrying this, with me, and I got done for the evening. Went to, uh, take off my pants and stuff, and my knife was not in my pocket. I had not noticed it wasn't in there. So I went looking all through the car. I'm looking all through the house. I'm like, where is it? I cannot find it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my wife's like, well, do you think it fell out when we were at the Walmart? And I said, well, we'll go take a look. So we went over by where we parked. There's nothing on the street or the sidewalk, and I was like, if somebody found that on the ground, I said, they just took off with it. I said, they're not going to turn it in. And so she was, like kind of convinced that, I must have it somewhere. And I was kind of convinced that it was gone forever. A couple weeks later, we have, a place, a shelf where we stack a lot of our items that come in bulk in cardboard boxes and stuff. And one of those was a pack of wet cat food. And when I grabbed that box, somehow, I guess when it was in my pocket, I must have had that box and it came and it stabbed the clip and picked it up out of my pocket. And I pulled that off of the shelf, and this was sticking in the side of the cat food. I was so happy. I danced all around the house. Mostly I was relieved because I knew that it didn't fall into bad hands. Not that they could ever trace it back to me, but if you give a knife to somebody that you know is a good person, you don't worry about it. But if it just goes out there in the public, you don't know who's going to get it, especially if it's in a parking lot, because who knows who's out there. But I was so happy to have this back. It was just so great. But yeah, D2 blade on this one, perfect action. This is just such a super sweet knife. I just love it. But then let's get to this guy here, the star of the show. Here we are. Oh my gosh, way far in this video. But you kind of, like I said, this goes way back to the beginning of the channel. When I found this knife, I was ecstatic. I saw it online and I saw this blade shape and I was like, oh my gosh, that is just an awesome blade shape. Because blade shape is one of the things that attracts you to a knife, as always. It seemed like it was really cool. It was their creamy yellow Delrin, which they use, which is a little paler than what Case uses. This is a little more whitish, but it still feels really good in the hand. It has this almost of a copperhead bolster, but it is not a true copperhead because the tang is there, but this tang is pretty much rounded down and it doesn't really grab. You can feel the corners, but it's not too bad. But yes, after having it for about a year, you can use the thumb stud to just flick it open. But I liked it because it was the hybrid between a traditional knife and your more modern knife. You had the pocket clip, which some people like, some people don't. It is only for right-hand carry. You can't swap that over, and it can only be tip up, so I know that some people care about all those things and other people don't. But just so you guys have, full representation on this. You do have the little Roper logo in there, which I think looks really awesome. As you can see, it's got some scratches and stuff from pocket wear because this was my EDC knife for quite a while. This thing rode in my pocket and was just my constant companion. I really liked it. Liner lock, basically one-handed open, one-handed close. And it's just a really fun knife. To give you guys some specs on this guy, it weighed in at 3.1 ounces. It's 4 inches closed. It's got a blade that is 3 1/16 all the way to the bolster, and the edge is 2 3/4 inches. This is really the only kind of spot that it's ever developed is this little kind of a pepper spot right on this edge. But that's been the only indication. I haven't used it to cut any kind of meat or anything like that. I haven't tried to tiner it up. I just really kind of like it for its main use for me, which is opening boxes, opening mail, just general everyday tasks. I find that with this long pocket clip, it does not get in the way of my fingers or anything. It just kind of sits up there, and that little bow or ramp, it goes right up into where the natural curve of your fingers are if you were holding this to cut it, because I don't hold my fingers flat against the edge. Maybe some people do, but it doesn't bother me any. But this has just been a really fun knife, and I used to think it was like maybe off of a trapper pattern, but then when I got this is that North American Hunting Club Right Edge Hunter, I saw that it actually was more like the pocket hunter pattern, with the way that the swell is on the Delrin, and then up here more than a trapper pattern here. Now this one, of course, is the Roper Laredo trapper, and you can't really see the transition as much, but most of them have like a little hump that's there. But I thought I'd pull this out because it's so great, and it has some stag. So see, we're getting all kinds of stuff. We're having Way Back Wednesday. We're having some stag for Saturday. Is it now Saturday stag? We got some Stockman for Saturday Stockman. We got some moderns. We got this guy here, and it's just a fun time over here at RJ's Knives. What can I say? But I know a couple guys have been asking for me to revisit this one, because I got to tell you, I haven't been carrying it as much. I haven't been carrying any of the modern knives that much. I will have them if I'm going to do some kind of a review or something like that, then I will carry them and stuff. But I got to tell you, I'm for probably the last 4 months, certainly probably all the way back to May, I've been like 100% traditional 100% of the way, just nothing but slip joints of all different sizes. I've been carrying, peanuts and jackknives and copperheads and trappers and stockmen, and I have not really gone back to, any knives like this. And I look at knives like this, and I like them. I still review them through the Apex group, but they don't hold the appeal to me as far as the variety, the history, all that kind of stuff. That just really, I think, gets me more in the traditional space than just to have the regular modern knife patterns. I think you can only do a single bladed knife so many ways, but with the different traditional patterns, at least I haven't gotten sick of them yet. So all right, guys, well, this has been a long video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. Are you happy to see the return of the Pecos? Oh yeah, it got a name change too. On the website now they're calling it the Roper LL Pecos, LL for liner lock, I'm sure. But I don't know if we could come up with a better name. If you have a better name for this knife, I'll pass it on to the marketing department. Just let me know in the comments below what you would call this fine specimen. But if you don't have one, I would say definitely pick one up. It's a worthy addition to your collection. I found while researching this that brands like Case and Schrade both had versions of a knife like this that had a thumb stud and the pocket clip. So not a brand new idea. I know Rough Rider did a couple of them a couple years back. So definitely knives that are out there, knives that have been done before. But like I said, the Pecos still right around $20. If you use the code in the description box, RJS for the ABKT site, that will get you 20% off. So definitely go to Roper. I believe in this brand. It's one that I think you're going to get a good serviceable knife from. They do make some modern offerings. They make a lot of traditional offerings. Go ahead and check them out. Get yourself something nice. All right. So I will see you guys for Fun Knife Friday. Talk at you later.